Hi guys, my name is Elena and welcome to Realms of Us. First of all, sorry for the bad audio quality, but I'm an idiot. And the last time I filmed I forgot to turn off my microphone, so it was on for like an entire week. And now I can use it until I got a new battery because it has some kind of special battery. Anyways, but yeah, you're probably wondering like, Elena, everyone has made an introduction video. What is gonna be the new topic? So yeah, drum roll please. I think I did that in another video and it was really awkward, so I probably shouldn't be doing this right now. School! But yeah, the next circle of videos is gonna be all about school. And I'm gonna be the one who's gonna start. And like when I thought about what kind of video I can make about school, I was like, you know, I don't really have anything to do with school anymore. I mean, yeah, I'm going to uni and that is a kind of school too. But like I graduated from high school like 3 years ago. I already made a video about high school stories on my main channel, and I was like, you don't really have anything to do with school anymore, so what the hell could you make a video about? And then it hit me. I'm gonna be a teacher. But yeah, I'm gonna be a teacher for German and English. German as a native language and English as a foreign language. And I mean, you can argue about whether my English is good or not the entire day. Apparently people like doing that. But fact is, I've been pretty good at my language classes. I got pretty good grades in my language classes. Except for Latin. We don't talk about Latin here. But I mean, I got my proficiency in it, so I guess I'm qualified enough to be talking about how to get better in language classes in school, you know, because that is like the topic of this circle. Yeah. But what I wanted to say before I start this video, everyone learns differently and every person has different learning strategies. And I'm also not yet done with uni, obviously. So there's still a lot that I have to learn about teaching language. But I can show you what helped for me personally and how to get better in language classes, how I got better in my language classes. To be quite honest, if you want to be good in a language class, you probably gotta be passionate about the language, because otherwise you won't really come far. Yeah, that was it for my video. I'm kidding. There are ways that you can get passionate about a language that you're learning. The good thing, what I always liked about languages, is that most of them are still spoken today and that are still used, which means that there are people out there like you and me who are using the language right now. And it's like people who have similar interests and hobbies to you. So languages are kind of like a universal field of interests, if you will. There's something out there for everyone. You just need to find what you're interested in and then you can use it to learn a language. And that basically leads me to my next point. Use the language. You will never learn a language if you don't use it. Like, speak the language, write in the language, talk to people in the language. If you don't use a language, you will not learn it. And with most languages, learning them in school will not be enough in order to speak it properly. If you just go to your classes and only do what is necessary, you will probably not really learn the language. And in the end, it's just gonna make class harder. Like, language class can only show you the basics, what you need in order to learn a language. But at the end of the day, you have to use it yourself in order to learn it properly. At least that is my opinion and my experience. Like, for me personally, what I realized, I wasn't necessarily good in Latin class. I mean, I got better the longer I took Latin class, but I wasn't really good at it. And I think the main problem was that I could never use the language. I could never develop a feel for the language. Like, I had means to translate stuff and practice it, but I couldn't really use it. And I think that was like my main problem with Latin, that I couldn't use it in an everyday context. So I think it's so important to use a language. And if not at home, I think you should like take language class home in order to learn a language. But if you don't want to do it at home, then at least try at school. Like, I personally, I was always a really shy person and I never really participated in class. But if that's not you, then raise your hand whenever you can, give presentations on topics, and follow what is going on in class. What I'm gonna say now is nothing that is gonna make me particularly popular probably, but especially if you're a beginner, read the freaking books! There's a reason teachers give them to you. Or you don't have that from me, okay? So don't quote me on that. If you don't want to read those books, then read some kind of book. Some other kind of book, something that interests you, but you should really read. Reading and writing is such an important part of most languages, and you should really practice that in order to get better in a language class. Or if reading is something that is kind of hard for you, then listen to an audiobook and read along. This is something that I do a lot when I have to read something. Then I listen to an audiobook and I just read along, and it makes it so much easier. I think there are so many creative ways in order to learn a language in its everyday manner, and that is really important. but it is still something different to read and to write. And I think you shouldn't forget that, especially because it's really important for language class, but also other parts in which you're maybe gonna use the language. There are so many ways to get in contact with the language. You can watch movies, for example, or something that I used to do when I started out learning English. Most songs I loved were English, and I wanted to know what the people were saying, and so I looked it up, I learned it by heart, I sang along. And then later on, when I got older, I started to watch English YouTubers, and it helped me so much, I swear to God. And even though it is hard to find YouTubers who make videos in a specific language, if you just start with one YouTuber, you'll soon have like a whole network of YouTubers if you just continue watching different kinds of YouTubers. Believe me, I've been there. Make friends who speak a language. I adapted so much of the way I speak from my friends, and the internet has so many people in it. Believe me, there's someone out there who speaks the language you want to learn and wants to be friends with you. If you struggle with vocabulary, then write it down once, twice, 1,000 times. And this has always helped me so much, just writing it down over and over and over. And at one point you'll just have it imprinted in your head. And there are also softwares to memorize vocabulary. For example, when I started to learn English, I used to use Phase 6. Not sponsored or anything, but this is like the software that I used to use. I think now it is available in browsers. Back then you had a CD for it. I mean, the vocabulary will come along with learning a language in general and using a language. But sometimes you have to learn a specific set of vocabulary for a class in a short amount of time, and this is something that has really helped me with that. Or for example, note cards is also something that I used to do, especially for Latin, but also for English sometimes. Like you have a note card and then you write the word onto it and then a translation on the back of it. And it was a pretty cool way to like check yourself if you know the vocabulary, and you could also like always mix it up, because I think the problem with learning with a book was that you always learned the vocabulary in the same order, and with that you could like mix the cards up, and you could also like sort the cards into different kinds of categories. Like, this is the vocabulary that I'm really good at and that I don't need to learn anymore. This is what I'm not so good at but kind of know, and these are the words that I just never get right. This is basically how I learned all of my Latin vocabulary. Like I literally had a stack of like that many vocabulary cards in the end. I probably remember like that many of them now, but okay. Because I don't use the language. Just saying. But yeah, these are my tips for now. This was my video for the school series, and I hope it helped you. This is how I learned languages when I was in school. So it did help me, maybe it helps you too. If you have more tips to improve in language classes, then you can leave them down below. And do I also have to make one of those outros now? This is gonna be so awkward. I cannot sing and I'm so uncreative. This is RELMSofUs and we're talking about school this time. This is RELMSofUs and I'm already running out of lines. This almost rhymed, okay? Riz, why did you have to start this? Oh my god, this rhymes well. Anyways, on that note, see you next time and get excited for the other people's videos. And yeah, bye.